We are going into the next episode of Conversations with the Bard. I appreciate you guys for rolling with me thus far. The goal is to inspire you, to inspire other individuals through our stories. Today, I present to you no other. I will be sitting down, standing up, having a conversation with Noir Rose. She is a storyteller through her poetry. She is a storyteller through her art. It is an honor. What's up, Rose?
What's up, yo? What's up? How's it going? I'm glad to be here. Having a good day, beautiful Saturday.
She blessed us with these hats, come through.
Yeah, man. I painted this one myself. Painted this one too.
I ain't had nothing to do with these.
I painted this one. Look down a little bit so they can see the greenery on it. Yeah. Nothing crazy. Can't see it that way, but you got it.
You want me to dip it low?
Dip it low. Yeah, your girl is here. But yeah, I'm working on this big piece over here. Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother and Father. But yeah, putting in some detailings on her. It was actually inspired by a piece of art created by a designer at the NEPA Fashion Week. And this specific model, he was wearing this headpiece that was made of flowers and foliage, and it inspired this painting. So that's what we're doing here. I started this painting at the Fine Arts Fiesta here in Wilkes-Barre. I was live painting with my good friend Have Art, who provided the materials for this. So I've been working on it, adding to it. We could take a little step, just a tad closer. You can see there's a lot of flowers in there, and we got some leaves and stuff. Like, we just getting into the vibe. And today we just gonna keep filling in the leaves while me and Mara chat. Word. So thanks for having me, Mara.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for finally coming. Have a conversation with the bard. And hopefully I can have an art on here one of these days to bless these beautiful people.
Absolutely.
How you doing today, Rose?
I'm pretty good.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel blessed. I feel, creative. I feel, I feel elated. And elevated.
She's feeling
How you
good.
feeling, Laura? What's going on with you?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm feeling good. 2 interviews in one day. That's a blessing to be able to sit down or stand up with these creative minds like myself. I appreciate this so much. You ready to get into it?
I absolutely am ready to get into it.
And just in case y'all forgot, I am your host, The Bard. Let's get to it. First and foremost, you want to tell these lovely people where you're from?
I'm from New York. I've been living here in Pennsylvania for 10 years now. I moved here in 2016. And, I've just been doing my thing ever since. I started a business called Breakout Art Movement. I worked in nonprofit community style work for most of my time here. And I allow creativity and the betterment of our collective existence. I allow that to be the fuel to direct and guide how I spend my time and what I do, for my community and for myself. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you want to tell the people what it was like growing up in New York? What part of New York? What part of New York?
So I grew up in Long Island.
L.I.
Long Island, New York.
Building.
In the building, in the flesh. Yeah, that's
Isn't
where I
that
grew up.
from where Wu-Tang and them from?
They from Far Rock.
I thought some of them was from L.I.
They could be.
Could be.
L.I.
You have to look
and
that
Far
up.
Rock is so close to each other. I ain't even
Let
gonna
me
lie.
see.
Right.
Alright. But while I'm looking that up, let the people know what it was like growing up.
So growing up in L.I., it was real chill, real fun. I ain't gonna lie. I was blessed to have an experience where my school and my neighborhood was very diverse. There was a lot of different backgrounds and people from different places, and it was just really a melting pot of experiences, language, of cultures, of friendships, you know, trials and tribulations, of course. But in the midst of all that, like just becoming this like creative, artistic person, and found a way to expand and express through colors, through words, you know. Then as I grew up, I began doing open mic nights, you know, going out there, putting myself out there, just sharing my words, sharing my lessons, my energy. You know, I spent a little bit of time on a radio show for like a year. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was dope. My friend Frenchie.
Which radio station?
It was called French Radio. It was an internet radio station. So we had listeners all over the country that would just listen in, which was really cool. It was a good experience. These are the things that just shaped me, you know, listening, growing up in New York, listening to hip hop, like, you know, being exposed to so many diverse hip hop styles and creative cliques, you know, getting into music early, freestyling with my friends early, you know, having the ability to record songs and stuff, and, you know, writing poetry, but also writing music. Yeah, New York life, living in New York was amazing. It was so robust, so full of color, life. And I was young, so, you know, I left New York when I was like 23, so it's been like, or 22, yeah, 23. But yeah, so it's been interesting, you know, growing up in my youth in New York and then coming out here in my young adulthood. And then part of my story is like being in foster care and, you know, going through the system and getting adopted. So like that's all of the undertone of the things that kind of help me move towards creativity. Because, you know, when you go through things like that, you feel like you got a voice, you feel like you're getting shuffled around. Like, you know, you a kid in a big system, in a big city, it feels even more like your voice don't matter. But my voice mattered in my art, in my writings, in my poetry, in my storytelling. So that's why I care so deeply about it today, because I know it's a catalyst for you to be able to create something more than what you see in front of you. You know? So
you took your negativity and made it into creativity.
Absolutely.
That's dope.
Turn that poison into medicine.
And I appreciate you taking that gift that God gave you and sharing it.
Absolutely.
Amongst everyone in the world.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And speaking of freestyling, she is very dope at it. By the way. And then just to piggyback on Wu-Tang Clan, so they're not from LI, but they are from Staten Island. I knew they was from an island.
It was me too.
I wasn't sure. So, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you looked that up, because I said Fort Rock.
We gotta put the facts on there. Let's get a fact check. So, quick question, quick snap the finger question. Animals, do you prefer animals over humans or humans over animals? Which one would you prefer?
Dang. Well, I mean, I feel like we all coexist. I don't think I prefer any one over the other. I think life would be quite boring without animals.
Okay.
And it would lack a little bit of color and a little bit of that I don't need to say nothing kind of love. Because with animals, I mean, you don't have to talk to an animal for you to feel the love with them. It's just telepathic love, low-key. But yeah, and then vice versa. If there was no people, it was just animals, then I mean, the world would probably be more biodiverse even than it is now. It'd probably be really interesting, actually. But like, I like people and animals, so I can't choose between the two.
It's all good. It's all good. Yo, it would have been dope if Lynx was down here chilling with us. And
yeah, my cat.
My cat. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have been chilling.
Intimacy together and the love.
My baby boy. Maybe we'll go see him. We'll
would be dope.
Word.
So, what do you think is the best place in the world to visit? Have you ever visited any place other than New York, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I visited like Puerto Rico,
Okay.
Jamaica.
Okay.
I went to Jamaica when I was a kid twice. It was cool. We did some. The first time it was just vacation vibes, but then the second time it was more so like us learning and learning how to give back. Because we did it with our church. We collected all of these items and we went and donated them to these orphanages in Jamaica. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that experience. And Jamaica is beautiful. I mean, the beaches, the food, the vibes, just all good vibes, for real. It was cool. Yeah. Yeah, the family that adopted me is Jamaican, so that's how I got that opportunity to go twice. Because I got family out there still to this day.
Let's dive a little bit more, deeper.
All right, take us there.
What would you say was or is your first hate?
My first what?
Your first hate.
Hate?
Hate. H-A-T-E. Your
The
first
first
hate.
thing that I hated.
Yeah.
The first thing that I hated? That's deep. What a question. Okay, so the first thing I hated was my circumstances. I really hated the fact that I had to be in foster care as a kid and I had to be like, taken care of by strangers who was like mean to me. I used to hate that. It was a horrible feeling to feel like, dang, I can't even like speak up for myself or like, you know, I'm just at the whim of like being shuffled around, couldn't go home. That was when I really started feeling like those strong ass feelings. Especially when people would abuse me, like put their hands on me or hurt me. Like it really made me feel more hate in my heart. Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I'm glad you're still here to tell that story, tell your story, to help other individuals that may be going through the same thing. I appreciate that.
Yo, I appreciate you even asking. That's a real question right there. Goddamn.
And then right after that, it could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing. What was your first love?
My first love. My first love. That's a good question right there. I have to think about that one.
We could run it back if you want.
To this question?
Yes.
Alright, bet. Let's run it back. I'm gonna take some time to think on it as we talk. My first love.
This might help inspire you. When was the first time you picked up a pen to write and draw, a paintbrush to paint? I'm asking them all collectively. If you want to answer it individually, because it might have been at separate times, or it could have been at the same time. When was the first time you picked up the pen to write, picked up the pen to draw, picked up the paintbrush?
I was a kid, so I used to like just be in my room doodling a lot. Like, I used to just be how I spent my time, just like when I wanted to just like feel, you know, just be in my own safe space. I'll just pick up the pen and write stories and start like. I used to write like little short stories when I was a kid. Like I would say I probably picked up the pen essentially for real, like at like 8, 7, 8. When I started writing, when I learned how to write, then I just started writing creatively, like not too long after learning how to write and read. Because I used to really love reading books. I get lost in stories and really enjoy reading about like the family dynamics and like just getting lost into that story of like, you know, these beautiful characters and these really interesting tales or adventures they would go on. And so I would start to write my own versions of those. And it was pretty dope, I ain't gonna lie. If I do say so myself. But you know what I mean? And then I started journaling too. I would just write about my own daily experiences and stuff. And just like as a way of like, I guess not hold everything in. Because in this world of how I grew up, people really you know, try to keep you from opening your mouth and saying your truth and stuff. So it was like literally God said that I opened a notebook and started writing into it, to be honest with you. Because life was no easy feat for a little girl getting shuffled in the system for real. You know, you really had to live with like all these people, places, things, so it was really interesting to come across the ability to create my own world using language. And of course I would doodle along with that. So I would essentially be writing my own little storybooks back in the day.
Just hearing it makes me understand breakout art movement a little bit more. Like it just makes that name, like it just makes it speaks more about it, just hearing the story, like, cause if I'm not wrong, that's where the name came from.
Yeah, the name came from like me being on a journey as a teenager, still in that same mindset of like, yo, art is really one of those things that amplifies my existence, right? I can create, therefore manifest whatever it is I want, you know, through creating, you know? And me and my friends we would tag, and we would do like some cheesy stuff. And my one high school teacher, shout out to you, Mr. E, he started seeing my one friend's tags outside and in the neighborhood, like all over the place. And he was like, y'all don't have to do that. Like, just come here to school on Saturdays. And he would have big boards like these, and we would just go crazy with them.
That's dope.
Yeah, he would let us use the spray cans and everything. That's the stuff we couldn't really touch in class. So it was really cool for him to like actually give us the opportunity to use like the stuff we was trying to use outside. And so we would basically become more productive with our art. We started like, you know, clicking up, hanging out, doing our music, doing our art, you know, wanting to get into comic books and storytelling like that. And that's kind of where I started using breakout art. I started using breakout art to describe that collective of like us being young artists, like just doing whatever we wanted to do with our art. So yeah, that's kind of where breakout art started at. And then when I came here to Pennsylvania, you know, I had to start over. None of my people was here, but I still had the desire to create those spaces. And I looked for spaces first. I looked for opportunities to get into open mic nights. I looked for, you know, diverse art scenes, and there really wasn't any. So I was just like, as a New Yorker I am, I was like, if you don't see it, you gotta make it. So I just made it. I started having open mic nights, and that's when breakout art became a movement. So breakout art movement was born from that.
Do you want to share like maybe what was your short story about?
It would depend. It would be like little random scenes or moments. It could be like, I made a story one time about this little girl who didn't really have much. She was like just making it work. She was like homeless in her like town, but she would just do odd jobs to like get by. And she had this odd job that she had to deliver this package to this place, and the person who lived there wasn't particularly like popular in the neighborhood, but she was well off. But people didn't really like having it delivered to her because they thought she had an attitude problem or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was just like superstition around her in her home. And so when the girl got there, she saw it was like a mansion. It was like a little overgrown in the front. So it looked, from the front of the building, it looked like abandoned-ish, but like not really. But like it just had a lot of vinage going on. And so she got in there, she dropped the package. The lady was actually surprisingly really nice to her and was observing her and looked at her and saw what she was wearing. She was like, how did you get all the way over here? Like, you know, started asking her questions, offered her some food, you know, offered her to just chill, like showed her around in the garden in her backyard. Yeah. And so basically the gist of the story was this like kind of orphan type of character, like befriends this like rich widow woman who like the neighborhood just says what they say about her, but they don't even know her. Like, you know what I mean? So they become like companions, and then like eventually she leaves her to stick to this girl.
That's dope.
That's the story I was coming up with.
So when can we see that? You know what I mean? You want to publish that?
Yo, I could. I mean,
What's
yeah.
up?
Dang, don't steal my storyline. Damn. I'm the whole storyline.
Nah, nobody can touch that.
Don't
Nobody
steal
can
the
touch
storyline.
that. That shit is already signed off on.
This is
Nobody
an
can touch
NDA.
that. And she got a witness right here. You ain't touching that. Yeah,
You can't write it like me. No, but.
Nobody can. I mean, even if they took the storyline, they can't write it.
Nah, they're not gonna
They
write
can't
it.
put that shit out there like that.
No, that's a fact. But you know, you catch the drift. It's like a dope, like, type of story. It's really cool. Like, it's cool. Like, those are the type of stories I be writing. Like, stories where it's like some feel-good stuff, some
Dr.
real
Feel-Good
stuff.
shit.
Yeah, you know, some real stuff, real juicy stuff about life, about experiences, about
And like more or less like how you would have done it felt or type shit like that.
type shit.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You ready to go back to the first love thing or?
Yeah, alright, come on. The first love thing. So my first love, I would say, was my mother, of course. I ain't even gonna hold you. My mama was my first love for sure. Yeah. That's what hurts so much about everything, to be honest with you. That's my first love for sure. I think everybody's mom low-key could be their first love.
Yeah, definitely.
They're the first person to show you how to love. You know, so I agree and admit that my mother was definitely my first love for sure.
So I can get with that.
Yeah. And my first heartbreak too. It's like a heartbreak that becomes a void you can't fill. And the person who broke it can't fill it. Gotta fill it things up. Bad.
Do you still, I mean, if you don't mind, you don't have to. Did you ever regain a relationship with her?
To a very slight, not as deep as I would like. That's when I realized that I had to go really out in the world and heal myself. Because I did reconnect with her as an adult, and it just didn't go the way I thought it would. You know, essentially, so much time had passed. She like kind of, you know, and she just, you know, her life was the life. She felt bad about how things turned out, but at the same time, there's nothing really to change about it. You know, it's time that has passed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like, it wasn't like healing to like, it was re-traumatizing in a way, because it's like, damn, some mom would be back in each other's lives, but she was not really able to be in my life the way I wanted her to. So it was just a reminder of why I was even in foster care in the first place. You know, the lack of capacity for my mother to be a mom.
Do you think at this particular time it was more or less guilt than anything, or do you think it was still like the same?
Oh yeah, she was feeling guilt. She was feeling guilt for sure.
Yeah.
She cried and apologized to me for some time.
Yeah.
But like, I could feel that she was carrying that burden. Like, damn, you know, I could have raised my kids, but at the same time, like now that we here, you know, I'm like a stranger to her. I'm a grown ass woman now. So she don't feel like she even know me.
A lot of time was lost.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you sharing that.
It's the heartbreaking of it all, man.
And then, last but not least, what is something that happened? I mean, if you answered it already, it's all good, but what is something that happened in your life that changed your view of the world?
Well, yeah, I would say, I would say for real, foster care really changed my perspective of the world because when you think about it, as a foster kid, you are at the whim of the world. And as such a vulnerable person in a society where children have rights, but like not really, like I learned and saw how people take advantage of that. Like I feel like I got to see the most ugliest parts of humanity being in foster care and seeing how people treat other people's kids who's in these predicaments that they didn't ask for. You know what I mean? And then seeing how the system treats those kids, and then seeing how that all follows them into the rest of their lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a hell of a beast. Foster care is a beast. Yeah.
It's like I really was made felt like I wasn't wanted. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be here in the first place. I didn't choose to be here. I didn't choose to be born. And then you're just making my situation 10 times more fucked up.
That part.
Like, damn.
Yeah. That part, literally.
Damn.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking crazy. Like,
it is crazy.
It's supposed to be a place where if my first, I'm gonna say it as my first family don't want me, you know what I mean? I don't have a guardian or someone to care for me. This is supposed to be another place that's there to protect me.
That's how it should be.
To kind of hold me down until I could find permanent placement. Like,
yeah. That's what you would think. Some people really just stuck. You get to see the ugliest version of them when you have to live in their world. You know?
I think though too, and let me know if you agree or disagree, I feel like we go through a lot of things in our life, and some things are allowed to happen to be able to share that story with other individuals that wouldn't know how to navigate it like we. Like I feel like we were like people like us, we were brought into this world to go through this shit because it's like we were strong enough to go through it and then be able to get through it and be able to tell our stories and again touch other individuals and show them that way out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I agree with you. I do agree. I feel like it has been played a major role in why I feel very dutiful to the community. Because I know that the community really came through for me and helped me from falling into the depths of despair that I could have fell into so many times, navigating all these complex situations as a child and then into my young adulthood and, you know, my teenage years and all that. Like, community has really played the vital part of being a place that helped me find who I am through the noise, you know, in all these different beautiful ways.
I think it's so beautiful when you go through a life such as yourself and a life like other individuals or things that I've gone through where you can find like a better way out instead of turning to negativity. You can produce fruits like this and the works that we put out there through our writing and different things like that. Like that is such a blessing and just a beautiful, let's get to the bars lesson. You know what I mean? Like just showing like this life isn't for anything. I was born for a purpose and here I will stand and share it with the world. Like, is there anything out there that you want to say to another individual as yourself that grew up in foster care or just individuals around the world? Like, anything.
What I will say is, the world is not your enemy. It is your oyster. It is it's your reality to shape. And oftentimes when you experience so much things that make you feel like you don't have power, you disenfranchise yourself from being able to feel that. And if I could say anything, I would say, continue to empower yourself and surround yourself with people who authentically care about you. And not in the way of you're trying to fulfill the love you never got to experience. That oftentimes is also like putting on blinders. You know, you have to really, I feel like it's more work on us, but at the same time, it's more important work, but you have to really hone in on who you are, your energy, how you want to be loved, how you love others, and find your good balance in that, because these life experiences that we've had they are powerful enough to mislead you if you don't ground yourself in love and light within yourself, and being able to ground within knowing your capabilities, knowing who you are, you know, and just being okay with figuring it out along the way, because you don't have all the answers. You know what I mean? Which brings me back to finding the right communities for yourself. Putting yourself around people who are positive, putting yourself in things that are positive, building positive habits, radically accepting yourself for the things you cannot control, you know what I mean? But also being honest with yourself with the things that you can, you know? So,
I feel like there's more to say, but time is limited. Get out there, just do it.
Just do it like Nike.
Just do
Just
it.
do it like you are.
Just do it.
I want to say a couple of dope, for real things. I talked about this on my podcast, and the podcast episode that I was on, where it was like, for a moment in my life, I was just writing and I wasn't sharing. I had this light that needed to be shared, and I just was keeping it under that bushel, so to speak, right? And then my brother, which is, you know, he's the whole reason why I'm here, well, part of the reason, because God gave me talent. But I wanted to write because he was writing. I wanted to do everything that my big brother was doing, and the one day he said to me, you should start putting yourself out there, sister. You need to start going to these open mics. And I'm like, I don't got time, or I'm too scared, or whatever the hell the excuse was at that particular time. And then one day I put those excuses to the side, and then my girl, she must have seen something that Rose was having, an open mic, and I was just like, you know what? Sign me up. And then she reached out to Rose, and that was my very first open mic. Like, Rose created these spaces. God put this young lady in my life for a reason, okay? He don't make mistakes. When he put people together, it's for a reason. So I appreciate you, Rose, for coming out here. I appreciate you for not allowing life circumstances from keeping you, you know what I mean? From doing what you were born to do, bro. You opened up those spaces for individuals like us. Reese talked about that so hard, heavy on the interview I did with him about Rose opening up spaces. So it is a blessing to know you, to be able to share these spaces with you. And if you haven't already, come out and listen, take a peek. Noir got some words to say. I'm talking about this sister has been blessed. All right, so yeah.
I love that.
Rose, I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too.
You know, having a conversation, taking the time out to have a conversation with the Bard.
Word.
You know how I do with the drinks on every episode. Young lady already drunk her smoothie.
Now I still got a little bit.
She had a little sippy sip.
I only got a little bit though.
Tell me what you sipping on.
I'm sipping on some piña. It's a pineapple smoothie.
And I got a piña mango. I didn't know what it was called, but
piña means
pineapple. Oh, piña. I'm saying piña. Oh, all right. People learn new things every day, right? So once again, thank you so much for tuning in with Conversations with the Bard. Please, if you can, I don't care who you are. I'm coming out to the people on the streets. We could have a drink. We could sit down and have some piña. Kind of like piña colada without the colada. You know what I mean? Some water, some whatever it is. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Conversations that need to be had. Conversations that, you know, like, This is everlasting. It should never have stopped. Like, we need to continue having important conversations. There are people out there that need your stories.
Facts.
It has been a pleasure to be able to sit down and bring another episode to you. It is your girl, the Bard, your host. I'll see you again. Just gonna take some visuals.
Say that.
I'm gonna record you a little bit while you do your thing, do your thing.
John really left. He's such a girl. I would just be cold. He dead.
John filled us up and
He left.
dipped out.
That food was good. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was definitely good. And it was healthy. I don't know too much about the garlic bread, but that mushroom pasta, yeah.
I wouldn't say that was healthy per se.
Like the mushrooms, the onion, the garlic. Not so much.
It was chill, right?
Yeah.
It was simple. It was a simple.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, that's what he was. It kind of looks good, like if you just look up top here, it reminds me of like this, the sea and like little octopuses. I'm just making up shit. Like, this shit is dope. This shit is really, really dope. Beautiful black woman. The what is it? The essence of a woman. I don't know, but like this is just.
It's actually mistaken. Oh. I mean,
Let me get my sting.
with this like this is no gender.
You know what? Because there's no features
Exactly.
on faces. It's still a beautiful, like, still beautiful. Everybody got different opinions, but you know what? It's still a beautiful thing. I can't do nothing like this. This is art.
It is.
When it's finest.